Welcome to episode 41, Redux, I guess. Colin, we had a lost episode last week. We'll talk about that. I'm Joe, and I'm joined here with Vito.
What up?
And Colin.
Hello.
Special guest Colin. You may remember him from months and months ago. When was the last time you were on, like, Christmas time? I think you were on the Christmas
Yeah,
episode.
it was a holiday.
Yes. So let's address the lost episode right out of the gate. Sorry, everyone. I've had so many people. Have you, Vito, had like legions of people contacting you like, where's the episode? Where's the episode? Like, relax. It was lost. Read the Facebook page.
That's funny. I've not personally.
I'm kind of frustrated because that was a really good episode. Like, we had one of Christian's friends on, and we talked about.
Yeah, it really was a good episode.
We talked about like how to make it as a creative. And then, like, how we, like, all our podcasts got launched and everything.
And he's like a up and coming like actor
/ screenwriter. Yeah.
Director.
Well, I feel like when you're doing that, you need to have a lot of slashes in what you do.
Yes.
Yeah, he's doing all that kind of stuff.
He's talking about he's moving to Atlanta instead of Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
Oversaturated.
Yeah.
They film all the Marvel movies in Georgia. Did you know that?
That's really cool.
Yeah, so that's just a little bit of cock tease for the next time we have him on, when we actually get that episode out.
The super duper lost episode.
So how did it get? I keep hearing
So
that.
this
What
is
did you
100%
do?
my fault, okay? My MacBook has 128 gigs of flash storage, right?
Uh-huh.
And I wanted to play Final Fantasy 14, which is 50 gigabytes.
And you went on a freeing up spree.
After I recorded last week's episode, I had about half a gig left. So I exported the episode to whatever, MP4 or whatever the fancy audio for. I think it's MP3, so it works on everything. And then I made the mistake of not listening to the playback. So then I exported it, uploaded it, and I deleted the stems, which is the, GarageBand file that takes up 2 gigabytes. And I deleted the episode. And then when I went to play it on Monday morning, like when it's scheduled to go out on the podcast, it was 15 seconds of gibberish. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then I'm like, oh no. Oh, and I also I could have sworn I had uploaded, but I didn't though. Because what I do every time, so the system is export the episode, upload it to Podbean, who's our podcast host, upload it to the Google Drive so we have an archive. And then, usually I hold on to the stems for like a week until I can delete them.
Sure.
I deleted them right away, and that was the mistake.
I feel lost. Like this is a... we can buy external hard drives for like...
I have one now.
That's fantastic.
Remember when you gave me that external hard drive?
I gave you an external hard drive?
Yeah, it was the Christmas party thing.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah.
I still have it, and he literally just could have asked me for it.
He literally was like, I can go run and grab it. I think I know where it is.
Yeah,
Like, no,
it's like
I gotta
2
get home. I
terabytes or
got things
something.
to do.
Yeah, that's...
Mine's 4, bud.
Whoa, look
4
at you.
terabytes.
Yeah, but
Mr. Baller over here.
Yeah, but mine could have prevented the
one, yes. I'm not saying this
the
wasn't
end of
my fault.
days.
So we have a new system in place wherein I'm just going to store them all on my external drive. So we're not going to lose anything.
Unless the external drive dies.
Well, yeah, but I'll leave them. I'll have the cache on my local machine.
Yeah.
The archives on the external, and I'll make sure I listen to the playback after I export all the episodes. You know what? We went 40 episodes without losing one. I think that's pretty fucking good.
Excellent.
For our rinky-dink little...
You deserve a promotion in the
there.
org chart.
From co-founder, I don't think I can go any higher. Oh, man. All right, so yeah, speaking of Final Fantasy 14, since Christian's not here, we can geek the fuck out.
Yeah.
Christian is in Disneyland.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. He's going to have so much fun.
He's at Galaxy's Edge, man. He says he's going to come back with one of those like $200 lightsabers.
Whoa, cool.
You heard about this? It's crazy.
Yeah, I've heard it's supposedly the world's coolest looking and immersive shopping mall.
Yeah, basically.
That can be imagined. So you go in there and everything just looks like totally perfect recreation of Star Wars.
Yeah.
But it's just engineered to make you spend money
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
on fancy lightsabers and photos with
You have
Chewbacca.
to reserve the ability to buy a lightsaber because they like custom craft it and there's like a guy in character like helping you make it and stuff. So
Whoa.
you have to make a reservation to pay someone $250 to make something for you.
Yup.
It's an artisanal lightsaber.
Yep.
Artisanal lightsabers.
That sounds cool when you say it like that.
Artisanal or
Artisanal.
Yeah, that's the proper pronunciation.
Uh-huh.
Artisan.
All right. Dorks. Yeah. So, anyways, we've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy 14.
Oh, yeah.
Vito and I are in the same free company, which is the guild equivalent, and it's actually really funny because, like, I heard, like, people, they were talking, Vito, his guild was talking to him about, like, where he works, and he's like, I work in a kitchen, but all the tables are so low,
yeah.
and I'm like, I mean, yeah. I want to be like, yeah, I know, Vito. I was your fucking boss. But I'm like, A, I don't know if they know your real fucking name.
Yeah.
I don't want to dox
They don't.
you.
Oh, you guys don't link your gaming profiles into your public podcasting persona?
We haven't yet.
Oh, you totally should. Make a special, like, Beefy Boys account for each one of you. Like, Beef Boy number 1, Beef Boy number 2.
What,
like,
my, like, handle, Rufasa85, that's known. Like, people can come find me on PlayStation Network. They never come at me. We can play Rocket League together or whatever.
yeah.
It has never happened. But, I mean, I'm playing Final Fantasy 14. My character is not named Rufasa85. So it's harder to find.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair.
Yep.
Yeah. The game's awesome. I took like a 5-year, so it first came out. So some backstory for you, Colin. You'll be our eager listener here.
I am very eager.
I gotta give a
And
Tim,
I'm kind of listening.
Tim, I'm gonna give you a hard time because Tim always makes fun of us whenever it's just me and Vito that we go down these dorky rabbit holes. And yet one of our best performing episodes ever is when it was just me and Vito talking about Final Fantasy 14 for 40 minutes. Which is what this episode might devolve into. Who knows? We're flying by the seat of our pants here. But anyways,
Yeah.
this game first came out in like 2011, and it was a disaster. It was epically terrible. So they relaunched it and rebranded it as A Realm Reborn in 2013. And then it was actually really, really good. And that's when I started playing it in 2013. All right.
Whoa.
Since then,
Real
3.
quick,
Yeah.
there was this really cool thing though, the like, calamity
Yeah.
that is like
Yes.
the opening cutscene to A Realm Reborn actually happened in game, and you could see the like moon coming down in game, and like.
They've created in-game
Yeah.
story lore to explain how they deleted everything that was going on before they relaunched it, which is actually pretty fucking awesome.
It was really
Yeah,
fun.
so they wrote their way out of that hole.
Exactly.
And in the like previous game that they had closed down, there was like an end times calamity thing that actually happened in game, and you could watch it live. And then
Yeah.
at the end of the event or whatever, the cutscene played. That is the intro to Realm Reborn.
Yeah.
That is like the cinematic of the calamity.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. So that it sort of looped over, like it's the end of the world as we know it.
Yeah.
But I feel fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was great.
So yeah, I played it a lot back then, and since then there have been 3 expansions, including one that just came out like 2 weeks ago.
Cool.
And this is like the hot game of the minute right now. Like Kotaku keeps writing articles about it. It's
Yup.
like the hotness in all the video game circles.
Awesome.
Apparently on Metacritic it has the highest rating. This specific expansion, Shadowbringers, has the highest ranking for a Final Fantasy game in 15 years.
Whoa.
Which is impressive because it's it's an MMO with a subscription. It's basically a WoW clone, and it's 2019, yet somehow
It's doing okay.
yeah.
It's
finding its community.
Yeah, it's because, too, the main reason to play this game, I mean, so it has, like, very good, like, different reasons to play the game, so it can feed all the different types of players, but the main, like, selling point for that game isn't its WoW-based combat like WoW is. Like, WoW is like, oh, it's raid or die, you know, and you gotta do the endgame content, you just gotta rush to the max
Yeah.
level because everything else sucks. It's like, the entire game of Final Fantasy XIV can be played like basically kind of like a single player RPG because the main story quests are so good. Granted, the first ones like to like level 30 or
It's
so
a slow build
aren't that
for sure.
really that good. But then it starts to kind of really get going. And then around 50 it gets like pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Not as high quality as the further stuff, but it like the story starts actually like really reeling you in and like getting some shit going down.
That's awesome.
And then it just gets exponentially better, and then this expansion just fucking blew my mind.
So it's not like WoW where they would just offer an option to buy level 60.
You can do that now.
Yeah,
you
but
can
like
do
I
that.
feel like you
But
would
you
be
don't
missing
want to.
out on
Yeah.
what you were describing.
They have several options. The one I find that most people are using right now is the skip to level 12, which is when you unlock airships and can escape your starting city because those initial story quests are
Wait, you can
So
do that?
it's more like fetch these 3 red berries
I didn't
from
know
the
you
wolves.
could do that. I thought there was only the level boost and then the story skip.
Yeah, the story skip gets you to level 12.
Story skip gets you past the main story quests.
I thought there's definitely one that you can buy that just gets you through to the part where you escape your starting city.
Maybe there's different like
Levels of story skip?
Story
Yeah.
skip. I thought it just skipped the entire fucking main story.
No, that's
up
too
to the
much.
most recent
You're just so
expansion.
confused. Like, who are all these people?
Well, no, I know that, but like I thought that's what people did.
I mean, some people like there's options for every single one. Like you can skip straight to Heaven's Word, you can skip straight to Stormblood, you can skip straight to Shadowbringers.
Which I would definitely
you
not
can
recommend
just-
doing.
No, well, I read that article on
There's like a
Kotaku too.
sect of people who like really are like, oh, you just gotta skip everything and go to the max level content because that's where the real game's at. I'm like, no, definitely don't
Those
do
are,
that.
I mean, those are your old school hardcore MMO players.
Well,
you know?
also they might just be. What if you're trying to start a second character or something? You know,
yeah,
or a different
but
build.
okay,
yeah.
so the
yeah.
cool
So
thing,
if you've played through it, then that becomes more worth it.
right, but one of the neat mechanics in Final Fantasy is you don't need multiple characters. If you want to change classes, you just equip the weapon of that class, and you level each class individually. So your same character can have levels in every single class.
Yep,
That's cool.
Yeah, it is pretty
it
awesome.
is really cool. Yeah, so I have all of the tank classes at the starting level for this expansion, and then one of those is at max level right now.
Cool.
Yeah.
Level 70. Oh,
I have
that's
three
actually
level,
really
three
not
level
that bad.
70 tank. Yeah. So the reason why I have Gunbreaker at 70, which is one of the new classes that just came out the expansion, is it starts at level 60.
Right.
Same as Dancer. And
Right.
my fiance really wanted to play a Dancer.
This is a new development. You have a fiance.
You didn't know that? Surprise!
Yeah. It was like 2 years ago.
No, wait, no, I do remember. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay,
Their
thank
wedding is coming up soon.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
At the end of the summer, yeah.
Exciting.
Yeah, very much so.
All right, and I are going in a reconnaissance mission. Just kidding, we're going just to go, but it's also a reconnaissance mission.
Awesome.
Where was I?
Talking about
Oh, yeah. So my
dancers.
fiance wanted to play Dancer.
Yeah.
So bad that she wanted to be her main class.
Oh.
And for
okay.
this expansion. And so I leveled Gunbreaker while she leveled Dancer, and
you
we
could
got up
queue
to
together,
70.
yeah.
And then when we caught up to my Dark Knight at 71, I switched back,
to Dark Knight. Yeah.
Because Dark Knight is super fun.
Wait,
in
is
this
she
expansion.
primarily because every time we come together, she's a healer of some kind. Does she just do that?
Yeah, so
for
she
the
has
cues?
she has all three healers at 70, but
Damn.
she doesn't didn't really want to play. She got bored of playing
healing?
healer while leveling. So she was like, "I'll just level healer secondary
Yeah.
and go through the main story quest as a DPS because the queues were still pretty quick with me being a tank, even though
Yes. Cues
even
for,
though the
for main
tanks
story quests really aren't that bad, even just as a
yeah, especially when the expansion first comes out too.
Yes.
So
The longest I've had to wait was 20 minutes, and that was at like 6 in the morning.
as a DPS,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's not bad.
So I don't know if you know any sort of things about how the dungeons and groups work, but
You have to join a party, and I'm assuming
it's
they have to
a tank,
take you.
a healer, and 2 DPS.
Right.
And so the reason why DPS usually have longer queues is just ratio.
Right.
But this expansion, the new class, is a tank. So tanks have slightly longer queues than
Everyone's
normal.
trying to level
But
up tanks.
because there's more people playing Gunbreaker, so because it's new.
Yeah. Sure. You want to try out the new thing.
Yeah, and so that's like increased the tank queue, but it's still not as long as DPS because it's still most people are playing DPS.
But Vito's right. Like, I've tried other MMOs. I tried WildStar for a while. I
Mm-hmm.
tried Terra, and I can't get into them. Like, I don't know what it is. Just Final Fantasy 14 has perfected that formula.
For me, it's the fact that
crazy.
they focus so much on story
I think that's it, honestly.
And also, on top of that, they have a very wide gameplay development.
yeah.
So WoW goes really hardcore into like raids and dungeons
Yes.
and PvP.
Yes.
And that's it. Like if you don't like gameplay, you're not going to like WoW, you know? But in Final Fantasy, they have the casino thing. They have,
I know.
gathering and
God.
crafting are actual classes that have abilities that you have like rotations for in like making things or gathering things.
Cool. And this is in your guild, or how does that factor it in with like? Is there a trading or economy? Where does that?
Yeah. There's like a
There's like a market board.
Market board.
Right.
You
That
sell your
basically
crap.
is how people sell and buy stuff from each other.
But I mean, the way I use it is like, okay, I'm a bard, which is an archer. I want better gear. Oh, all my gear is made of leather. Okay, let's have my leather worker make some gear. Oh no, I need more whatever
yeah.
wood
Although-
to make this gear. Okay, my botanist goes to get the wood to
Yeah.
give to my leather worker to make the gear for my archer. So,
That's a very long game kind of plan though, because
yeah, I could just buy it.
yeah, and it's cheaper honestly than leveling those classes.
But you get the Skinner box reward of leveling, you know?
Yeah.
They also have all the Skinner box tendencies. Like literally a lot of the quests I've been doing recently are like, go talk to this guy. Okay, now go talk to that guy. Okay, 5,000 experience. Like, okay. Keep doing that.
That's funny. But yeah. So what I've been doing is just like I really, really enjoy the class quests. Even the gatherers and crafters have class quests that
Yeah.
are like specific to the
Yeah.
class. That's kind of like a mini story quest line that's for that class specifically. So
So if you're a leather worker, you go out and find the corpse of your father next to some hide that you have to tan. Like, how do you level up your leather crafting?
yeah, basically
You
like,
make leather stuff, yeah.
yeah.
yeah, and so like I have a level 75 fisher, and there's a fishing story quest all the way through to 70.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so unlike the main story quest, which is like meant to be your main way of leveling, where you have like sometimes you get a level block in the main story quest and have to do like a dungeon to get like the next level and then start the next quest. But with the class quest, it's like every 5 levels, so you don't like if you're doing a fisherman, your main way of leveling is actually fishing, but then you also have these cool quests that do
Yeah. And then
story and like
do you catch like a really big fish?
exactly yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then like
Neat.
the like level 50 fishing quest is like you have to fish up this thing that they think is Leviathan coming back, which is like, well, you know what a regular old Leviathan is. It's basically their
Sea
version.
monster, yeah.
Yeah.
This giant creature, monster, whatever. Lore wise, it's like summoned through magics or whatever. But yeah, and it's just like a really big fish that you catch, and you're like, nope, it was just this, and then the whole
Spoilers, by the way.
yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, fishing spoilers in Final Fantasy.
If you
14.
really, really were invested.
if you really, really invested.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that quest has been in there for like 7
But yeah,
years.
yeah. And then the
When do spoilers stop becoming spoilers? Like,
1
how
year.
long? 1 year.
I thought it was 2 months.
2 months, huh?
Yeah,
The internet
I think
sure
it
changes
depends-
stuff.
It depends on the content.
Yeah, because I thought it was 2 weeks for that one movie, the Marvel movie or whatever.
Well, yeah. So I feel
like
like
officially.
for movies, yeah, especially tentpole movies like
Yeah.
Marvel releases, then yeah, you have a few weeks. For
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, you had 1 day, if
Yeah.
that. Like, get out of here.
And
But
then
for something like a video game, especially a
Yeah.
somewhat obscure one, 1 year. I'll give you a year.
totally.
That's plenty of time.
Yeah.
If you cared, you would have done it. Like,
But yeah, so and then the whole reason why you go and like try to hunt down this monster / catch this fish and prove it's not a monster is because they banned fishing in that area until
So
It's like
So
it's,
you have
like,
to
it's
go,
the Footloose
yeah,
complex.
so you have to go like behind the back of the like
Sneak
the guard
around.
people
That's
in
a-
Laminsa and go catch this fish and then show it to them. And be like, this is what actually the monster was. It was just a big old fish.
And I solved it through fishing.
Yes,
Like,
exactly. It was great. Yeah, and there's like a whole bunch of fun stuff like that, and
And everybody clapped.
yeah. But yeah, and so like I have like two or three crafters and a couple of gatherers at 30 plus, and then like all of my classes are 30 plus because that's when you get the job is at level 30.
Yeah.
Which
Soul
is like
crystal.
the upgrade of your class.
What's the cap?
Right
80.
now, 80.
Yeah, just moved it up to 80 this expansion.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the WoW cap right now? Like 200?
120, but they're thinking of doing a leveling squish.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of how much grinding.
Well, so it's all relative. They're just numbers.
Right.
That's true.
So, like, it's basically like they make changes so that it goes at a relatively good pace.
right.
So I guess I started playing Final Fantasy in January, and it took me 4 months to go from never having played the game to beating the main story quest in the previous expansion that was like the most recent when I was doing it.
Damn, that's fast.
Yeah. I mean, I binged the hell out of it because the main story was so good.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, so that was doing not just leveling, but also main story. And the other thing is because you level all the different classes on the same character, and you don't have the main story quests more than the one time you go through it, they actually give you a boost in XP based on how many different classes you have at what levels. So if you have like, so the more high level classes you have, the more XP bonus you have. So if you have 2 level 70s, it gives you more XP than if you had 1 level 70.
Just
you're
to
leveling
help
level 1.
Any progression slowdown that would happen.
Because there's no quest to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. That's fair.
And they also like sort of like, I guess, condense content by making the leveling sort of go faster. During Stormblood, there was a 50% bonus cap on XP between 60 and 70 for having a level 70. And in Shadowbringers, they released that cap to 100% like the rest of the levels. Then also, when you pre-order Shadowbringers, they give you an earring that gives you a like 50% bonus to XP or something.
It's only to level 30, though, isn't it?
No, the earring is until level 70.
Oh. Damn.
But there's also the like newbie quest thing that like teaches you how to play an MMO basically.
Sure.
If you finish that on like the like 3 or 4 different versions of it for each role, you get a ring that gives you a bonus up to level 30.
Oh. I've done
and
2 of
then-
those quests. I learned how. Well,
Yeah,
one actually.
you should do the other 2, and then you can level all your shit to 30 a
Well,
lot
no,
faster.
I mean, I did one of the chain. I didn't finish the chain.
oh.
I said the first one was avoid DVS, and I'm like, yeah, or avoid AOE attacks.
Yeah,
I'm like, I know how to
it's
do
definitely
this.
worth it to do it because it also gives you a set, a level like 17, like like 3 or 4 pieces of armor that you can use on
My off classes.
yeah, all your off classes and stuff as you're leveling.
I'd have to do this.
Yeah, and then there's also food. No matter what food it is, so it doesn't get bigger as you have like more of it or like higher level foods or anything. But if you eat any food, you get a 3% bonus to XP.
Yep.
Hell
So,
yeah.
there's
And it
plenty
lasts
of-
for half an hour.
Yeah,
a long time.
you can actually eat it twice and have it an hour.
Oh. Can I eat
Ooh.
different foods? Or does it have to be the same food?
Yeah, you can eat different foods as long as they're not different types. So there's like the ones that give perception and stuff, that's gathering, and
Yeah,
then,
and
it's
then
crafting.
there's- yeah.
But if you eat 2 different types of battle stuff, it'll actually give you all the stats.
What?
But if you eat 2 of the same, it'll give you double that stat.
That's cool. I didn't know I could do that. Because
yeah.
I have so much food. It's just taking up inventory space. Should
Yeah,
start eating it.
I've basically, because I only use it for the XP, the 3% XP boost, and I don't actually use it for any of the stat boosts. I just buy the like level 1 egg or whatever, and I have
soft-boiled egg.
So yeah, the soft boiled egg or whatever. I have
Your
like,
farts as a character must be so bad.
yeah. So I just have like 90. I just buy like 99 of that, like the full stack of one of those,
Of
and then
course.
just sell all of my actual food on the auction house / market board or whatever.
Do you know what the crafting class to make food is called?
It's the deli associate,
I wish. It's the culinarian.
the culinarian. Oh, that sounds great for me.
So fancy. It's so
The
fancy.
lumberjack is called botanist.
Yeah. Well, you also
do other
Plants.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, but you chop down trees to get the wood. Like,
Yeah, you
Yo.
do. You do that.
You do that.
yeah.
That's good times.
The hand-to-hand combat is called a pugilist, and then they become a monk later on. but
Hey,
they start
that's
as a pugilist.
that's the same.
Or as some people pronounce it, a pugilist.
A pugilist. Yeah,
That's the same way that Fallout does it, right?
really.
And Oblivion, I remember there it was. You can level up pugilism. Yeah, it's here.
Fancy.
Isn't a pugilist supposed to be like another word for like a
Boxer.
Like a boxer. Yeah.
Oh no, I thought it was like a fantasy word for like I don't know, like I guess like another word for like a kind of rogue or something,
No.
No,
like a duelist or something.
you know we do have the internet.
That's true.
Yeah, but what's
Yeah.
the fun
No,
of that?
Yeah.
I picture it. It's like old timey, like newsreels from like the 1890s, 1900s, like guys with mustaches going like this.
Time to see a pugilist fight in the streets. Yeah,
Exactly.
That's great. Yeah, might be both. Who knows?
yeah.
Word.
Good
Man.
times.
Final Fantasy 14, y'all. Check it out.
Good game.
Play with us on Mateus. That's all the information I'll give you to find our characters.
Yeah, except you can't play with this on Mateus because you can't create any new characters on it.
Oh, it's congested? Well, I got in just before that happened, huh?
Well, travel back in time.
Yeah, travel
Yeah.
back in time.
I mean, just get on the crystal Aether shard or whatever. And
Oh yeah, and world
World
visit,
visit,
is
yeah.
a new thing you can do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris
So
Collins,
as long
what
as
the
you're on
fuck
the
are you guys
same
talking
data
about?
center, you can. There's now a system where you can visit the other like realms,
Yeah.
or other servers.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we're on the Crystal Data Center on the Mateus server specifically.
That makes data centers sound way more cool
Then
than
those
those
kind
kinds
of like
of
a server farm.
Yeah, right. Welcome to Server Farm XC73.
Yeah,
And Cluster Charlie.
Yeah, boring. Boring.
You should actually name them cool things.
Yeah.
This week's podcast brought to you by the Beefy Boys, three cool dudes hanging out talking about music, video games, and sports, and anything else that hits our fancy.
Yeah, check them out at www.beefyboys.com or on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. If you love their logo, you can buy their merch, www.cafepress.com/beefyboysmerch1.
And oh, baby, you know you're going to find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Find us on Twitter at beefy_boys. And you can find us on Instagram at officialbeefyboys because it is official. Make us blue check marked, keep following us. And you can find us on Facebook at the Beefy Boys. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Beefy. A good podcast requires a good beer. So that's why I always go to my go-to, Keystone Light. If I'm going to the store, I don't want to buy a 12-pack. I want to go for a legit 15-pack. When I go to a party, I don't take Rainier. I take Keystone Light. And you know what? It tastes so good, I'm going to have it right now. Cheers, folks. Yeah, there's a burp coming in. It's good.
Why does Amazon call their S3 servers buckets? I never understood this.
It's because they have like when you interact with it, there's like a bucket object. It's the bucket that you put it in, and they didn't name it something.
I understand the idea of like a bucket sort, but why a bucket? No one else has ever referred to cloud storage as a bucket before. Amazon. That's what
Well,
I'm getting
because
at.
they like naming things in funny ways.
Of course.
Yeah.
Do you guys use AWS?
No, we have all in-house IT.
Is it because
What?
it's a cloud and so it's like a rain catching bucket? Like,
Sure, but
yeah.
like the Google Cloud doesn't call them buckets. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What do they call it?
they
Blob
just
storage? I
yeah,
don't know.
something like that.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Nobody uses Google Cloud. Everybody uses AWS.
Yeah. Or Azure. Don't forget
Yes,
Azure.
Azure,
Right.
which people are so bad at pronouncing.
Yes.
It's so funny. The number of people who say Azure, and I'm like, it's Azure. The word is pronounced Azure.
Are you talking about the actual word like Azure?
Yeah, Azure.
It's Azure.
No, it's
No,
Azure.
it's Azure.
It's
It's Azure.
Azure.
Yeah.
100%.
Right.
And they even use the color. Like in all their marketing materials, everything is that color. And I'm like,
There's no J in Azure though.
it's Azure. Yeah.
Right.
Just
but
saying.
we have lots of storage, but it's just all network file systems and a few like high performance computing clusters that we use for like
But all that's in house.
Yes.
You don't have any of that hosted on the cloud.
no.
That's not extensible at all.
It's worked for us for a while. There have been we recently got bought, and there's some people moving up who I think are probably going to bring in some more modern stuff. But it's basically it's a math problem for them, like the cost of switching
That's a one-time cost though. And
yeah,
then-
right. So a lot of people they've been doing in-house IT for so many years,
Well,
and
yes,
the cost
the old
of
graybeards. Yes.
yeah, right. And so there's some. I think IBM's trying to do like a hybrid solution, like that. They're trying to get it right, where you could have your in-house IT running their stuff and have it all running the same software and still reuse it all, but they're still developing it.
What's your tech stack?
It is all Microsoft technology. So
I thought you moved to Portland to escape the .NET stack.
yeah, no, it's not net, but so like we make laser manufacturing equipment, right? So like we're really really good at making drills and cutters and all these things, and most of like the magic that our applications do are like our embedded control systems.
Yeah.
Right. We have a bunch of people who make so partially software, partially hardware solutions that make it so we can drill tens of thousands of holes in like a second. And as long as that part works, our customers don't care if our application looks like it's from 1995. We're still on Windows Forms for a lot of it, which is so your computer looks like it's running, Windows 7.
Is it all like local to the machine, or do you have an API?
So for our machine, I work on a laser trimmer, and what that does is it takes a silicon wafer and it measures the surface of the wafer with some electrical probes, and we fire a laser at it, right? But there's another computer that talks to our computer over just a direct connection. And what it'll do is it will actually measure with those probes and then tell our laser how to fire.
You do have an API then, even though
So
locally,
we have it, but it's like an in-house thing called here's a fun piece of lore. It's called the Enhanced Tester Interface, ETI. And I don't know.
out of here.
Yeah, but I don't know why the original engineers named it this. But there is a component in that software system. It used to be called the Universal Tester Interface.
Oh, the
or
UTI.
UTI for short. So I have no idea why they chose to name it that way, or why we publish technical documentation like here's the UTI server. Serving up some fresh UTI.
Oh jeez.
Yeah. So our machine has to talk to another machine that tells it what to do really, really fast.
Right. That's the web.
And they have their own little
I mean,
automation.
you didn't call it an API, but that's
So, okay.
100% an API.
Yeah. Right. But it's a homebrewed solution.
Yes. And
It's a
just 'cause it's not-
hipster API.
Just because it's not being served over the internet doesn't mean it's
Yeah,
not
so it's
still
a
an
really,
API.
really fast Ethernet connection. That's the thing. Talk to each other.
Oh,
Yeah.
probably the great beards probably go crazy for that shit.
Well, it's fine. So, like, most of the time, what our customers care about is they spent bajillion dollars back in the day making that automation system that talks to our machine, and they just don't want to have to make a new one. So,
Yeah,
like,
I know.
we have customers who are still on, get this, Sun Microsystems computers.
Ooh, what computers?
Yes.
When the hell did they make computers?
They made computers and their own operating system, and some people still use it for this stuff.
Wow.
No, I know that when I was on the fishing boats, they all have to use this program to enter data, but like most of those machines were installed in like 99 when they first started requiring them, so they're still running like Windows 2000. It's like,
Sure.
Can we upgrade the computer in here? Like, look at
So,
this
okay, it is actually my
weighted
job
up
to help
monitor,
upgrade
man.
some stuff to Windows 10, but the problem is finding the time.
Yep.
And like, there's always a million fires that we're putting out, and they mostly just want to figure out how to make more money with our machine.
Yeah.
Like, they mostly just care about yield and throughput and all those things, so they just want us to make it faster or less errors or more repeatable or something like that. And they could, as long as it fits their security policy, they're happy.
Yeah.
And most of the time, they might be running on Sun Microsystems, but they won't even connect their stuff to the internet,
Microsystems,
right?
Jesus.
So nothing can get in, nothing can get out. They're still safe.
I don't know if I don't know if you spent a lot of time talking to web developers, Colin, but the biggest concern for compatibility, like the number one question is, do I have to support IE6 or earlier? Or even now, it's like, do I have to support Internet Explorer at all? And the guys who
It's
are building
Edge now.
I know, I'm aware.
Microsoft Edge.
Microsoft Edge has replaced. I got a funny story for you. I met the guy whose job was to create the dev tools, the developer tools in Microsoft Edge, and he does all his debugging in Chrome.
That's pretty
Because
funny.
the Google dev tools are better.
So-
That and Microsoft was too slow to take on his suggestions.
I had a professor, and I want you to roundtable, make a guess right now. How many times over the years Microsoft had said, "Okay, guys, we failed with Internet Explorer. Like it's time to start fresh. We're just going to Control Alt Delete, like completely start from scratch." How many times did they do that?
Well, I mean, like 10?
Six. The number is 6.
Oh.
That is how many times they've basically said that we failed, guys. Why did we suck?
That's awful.
How can we not suck in the future? Let's completely revamp it.
It somehow uses all your system resources and still runs like shit.
Yeah.
Oh, man. It's all about Chrome. Or if you're obsessed with open source, use Chromium. Don't
I
use
use
Firefox.
Chromium.
Yeah. You use Chromium. Well, you're running like an Ubuntu build over there.
No, I use Chromium on my Windows 10 PC.
Have you adopted VS Code yet? Are you still writing code in fucking Atom or whatever?
No. So
editor
we
choice
use
was?
Visual Studio Enterprise. So
Oof. Why?
it's integrated with all our
Talk
stuff.
about a resource hog. Jesus.
Well, also, I have a really, really beefy computer, so
Yeah.
they give me a machine that can handle it.
Let's write it on VS Code, man.
Yeah, I use that and Vim and Notepad.
Vim. Notepad.
Notepad plus plus, which is great.
Jesus Christ.
That's hilarious.
Oh, man. Microsoft is kind of knocking it out of the park. They have been open sourcing a lot of their technologies, especially the dev stuff, but
I feel like it is
Seeing a lot of this
a
less.
much better approach than the Ballmer years where they wanted to write everything themselves, control the entire technology stack. It should only interact with Microsoft tools, Microsoft this, Microsoft that.
well, I mean, that was the time though. That was the Larry Ellison Oracle days too. When
Yeah.
remember when everything on the net was going to be a Java applet? I'm glad that went away.
Yeah.
Awful. And then when Apple decided they wouldn't support Flash because they like open source things, I feel like everything really changed. But
Yeah,
that
but
was
sure.
the death of Flash.
Yeah, so like my biggest complaint about Windows these days is just the updates.
The
Yeah.
updates.
It infuriates me.
I'm running a Windows machine. I got 2 MacBooks up in here, man.
Yeah.
The most annoying thing to me is that even with Windows 10, Microsoft still treats people who use their computer like they're complete morons. So like, if you want to update like an environment variable, you know how I do it on my MacBook? I open a file and I type in the variable. You know how I have to do it on the Windows machine? It's like buried in the control panel settings.
Oh
I'm like,
yeah, sure.
I have to run it as administrator and like confirm my password like 3 times. I'm like, this is so obnoxious.
It is. It is. Okay, but so like you got to use PowerShell if you're doing Windows. That's
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
want the problem is I want to install new PowerShell terminal commands. I need to do it through path variables, and I have to dig all the way deep into my settings.
yeah.
And then PowerShell doesn't integrate nicely with Git, so I need to use Git Bash for that. And then so I need to run literally 2 different terminal windows all the time.
yes,
Trust me, it's a
that's-
pain.
Yeah, it is. It is. I generally like
now that
Linux
I'm-
better, but
Now that I'm the
Whatever.
actual instructor, I'm not allowed to tell my students on Windows machines that they should just buy themselves a Mac. I can't solve this very specific Windows like Java installation problem. Like I have no fucking idea what to do, man.
yeah. At that point, yeah, the right answer is just Google for several hours and then maybe cry for a
Yeah.
while, and then hopefully your problem will fix itself.
I know. It's just, especially like we do in databases recently, and like the MySQL install on Windows was a disaster.
Sure.
Oh man, that's what we get for using Oracle products, man. I want to teach them Postgres, but nope, MySQL.
Really? I love Postgres.
Me too, because it's open source. It's open source.
Yeah.
It's just I mean, it's sequel to sequel, you know?
Yeah.
Slightly different. God, no, this episode is all over the fucking place. I can't wait to hear the comments on this one.
Yeah,
John
yeah,
Collins
yeah.
talked about literally nonsense for 20 minutes. Like, what? I'll have to send this one. Shout out to Aaron Litton. He's always asking me to talk tech on the podcast. I'm like, okay. Yeah. We did.
And there you go. The Techisode.
Yeah, for real. That's a great title. Oh. We gotta get Colin. Next time you're in town, let me know. So maybe,
Yeah.
Or if you're ever in town on, I know, like from 10 to 2 on a weekday, let me know. I'll get you to come talk to my class about being a real life developer.
Oh, okay. I could tell them all the fun
Yeah, exactly.
system integration stuff I have to do, and it's
Doesn't matter. You can talk about. At the end of the day, you're still writing code. There's only
yeah. So
only so
like
many ways
most
to write a
of
damn for loop. I mean,
yeah, right. So, but most of the like fun, cool stuff I get to do is all like vision related. So that's
like
kind of my
computer vision.
yes.
Oh,
that's my
pretty cool.
so that's kind of my niche, like the alignment algorithm that I'm working on for the trimmer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you know that measuring equipment that touches down on the wafer, it's really small, and we measure it with a high definition camera.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so that's the algorithm that I've been working on, and it's really cool. So the thing is that it lines it up and can touch down to like within probably about just a few microns of accuracy. And for scale, a human hair is like 70 microns in diameter.
Wow.
So the stuff's like really, 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 really tiny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like where most of the special sauce that I've been doing is with that. But then I also get to do the very unsexy work of Windows Forms
Windows
and
upgrades.
Sun Microsystems integration.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, that's everywhere, you know?
And
Yeah.
the UTI
That's
server.
everywhere.
Yeah.
Here, let's make this educational, Colin.
Uh-huh.
As a graduate of a computer science program, can you tell me what a singleton pattern is?
You have one instance of an object, and only one can be created within your computer system.
So what's the point?
I don't know. So it's
You don't know this?
no,
An interview
it
question.
can be helpful. It can be helpful. Like, so perfect example. We have a motion system, right? And there's an element on there called the stage, and there's only one object that can ever be constructed at runtime, and everybody can talk to the stage.
Right.
And then you can lock down all the concurrency required to make sure that the whole system can talk to it in one nice, tidy little package. And that makes it safe for you to expose this kind of thing to
Okay.
the
I guess
system.
that
So
makes
it's
sense.
just it's a nice way of abstracting stuff
guess
out.
my-
And this is a hardware system. There's not magically going to be another stage that
There's
comes
no
into the
second
mix.
user.
No,
Yeah,
right. There's
yeah,
only
yeah,
it's literally a hardware component. There can only be one.
So why even build a factory then if you only need one of the object? Why not just hard code in the object then?
Yeah, well, the way that I see, what do you mean factory? So when I think of like a factory, I think of I need to
Or a class, even. Or
well,
whatever.
it's
Like,
well,
why
it's
do
just-
I need
it-
something? Why do I need to generate this single instance of this class? Why don't I just
well,
write-
it's so
build an
it's just
object?
part of your like system startup. Right?
The broom agrees.
yeah. The broom is falling. But yeah, so it's because there might be some initialization logic, and if it's something that's a
guess,
noun within your
yeah.
system, it's very idiomatic to say like stage.move, right?
You could take some user parameters in to create your one instance of the stage, I suppose.
Right, and oftentimes, like, it wouldn't even be user. They might just have, like, a little config file that loads on startup,
Well,
and,
they-
like,
okay,
we'll
yeah,
set up
that's
your deal,
true.
and it'll
Okay,
have, like,
yes.
initialization logic, and then you could have, what if you had your stage that knows how to initialize itself, and then you have your system that's trying to initialize it?
Yes. Well,
Right,
yeah,
so
the-
that's
I
like-
understand the point of the modularization.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
The single use singleton.
Yeah. I mean, technically, you could just write your logic that
Exactly.
there only ever is one instantiated, but
I just think that's OOP people being fucking crazy, man.
sure, that's fine.
Anyone who I'm gonna call people out. Anyone who's way into a paradigm like OOP, which stands for Object Oriented Programming, Vito, functional programming, test driven development. Anyone who's a real advocate for those needs to chill the fuck out. Like that, all those things have their place, but that doesn't have to be used for everything.
I agree.
That's my point.
Yeah, so like I'm not a fan of like test driven development, but I am a fan of people writing tests for their code.
Do you ever want to write those tests?
It's work, but it's
Busy work, man.
It makes me feel happy when I see that stuff checked in.
I know, and if you
smile.
once you have the testing framework set up, it's nice too because you can immediately tell. Oh no, I broke something. You know, you don't have to go manually test it all. It's
Right,
just a pain
but
in
so
the ass, you know.
perfect example. I inherited an application that was mostly written in the '90s and didn't have a single unit test.
Oh.
What's writing one test gonna do? Great, I tested my one tiny little new feature.
Mm-hmm.
Neat. There's this big dumpster fire happening behind me, but I got this. Like,
It's the same way. Like, I mean, I obviously have a Kanban board right here. But
Yeah.
I've been working on the redesign for our podcast website, and I built up a Kanban board just for my own use.
Nice.
And it's actually been very helpful.
Yeah,
I took the 20 minutes to build the fucking board, and
Well,
now, like,
also
okay,
the act
I can
of-
remember what I'm doing.
taking your ideas and breaking them up into logical chunks and then
Yes.
writing them down is also part of the usefulness of the board, right? Just the act of doing that ceremony.
Plus,
And it is a ceremony.
I'm including a CMS,
Yeah.
so like, because Christian wants to be able to write game reviews, so
Uh-huh.
like, I've added that in, and then I'm adding blog posts as well, so I can separate out the actual like episode objects from any other
Oh,
information.
we also
need to
noticed
pass.
that the website's not very good on the phone.
Yeah,
It kinda,
I'm
like,
working on
runs
that
off
too.
the page and stuff.
Well, right now I'm just building our API or our database. So, but so
That's
far
cool.
I've created 3 users, and they have encrypted passwords.
Neat.
So we're already better than Target.
So I had so for those of you that don't know, I have a very, very ghetto phone. It is an LG Fiesta running on Straight Talk Wireless, which is Walmart's
Oh my
plan.
God.
And this is a call out to Walmart, but they definitely sent me my password in plain text in an email when I forgot it.
That means it's being stored in their database in plain text.
Yes,
Because
that is entirely right. I remember
Ideally,
seeing
if
that
you're-
and just feeling kind of like dirty.
if you have a properly like salting, encrypting, hashing algorithm, there's no way to convert it back to what it was. Like you can just compare it to
But
what
yeah,
it
so
should
like
be,
if you
but-
get an email from that, it just means that this website is stuck in 1992.
and when they get hacked, you're gonna get fucked because they're probably also storing your credit card information in plain text.
Yes, yes. I think they fixed it recently because I reset my password a while ago. But after that, I kind of want to dump them. They're also they used to be cheap, and now they're just as expensive as everybody else. So I don't see why having a ghetto Walmart phone is
iPhone.
doing me any good.
Sparkly motherfucking iPhone 7.
That's really pretty.
AT&T. You should see it when the sun hits it. It's crazy. It's crazy.
I've got like
Yeah.
a 5-year-old Galaxy.
Damn,
Cool.
We did 45 minutes. I do want to change topics because I almost gave myself a heart attack the other day. So
Whoa.
both of you have seen the backyard, right?
Yes.
We're doing some major gardening landscaping work, as in I'm taking out an absurd amount of bamboo. And I was doing some of it. I was chopping some of the like 20-foot tall stuff out of from the side of the house. And I'm also like the plan for now, I might change my mind and just hire a landscaper, but the plan for now is to just fill our compost bin once a week and slowly take it out, right? So I'm filling the compost bin.
I feel like by that time it'll just all regrow.
It doesn't regrow that fast. Mind you, that it took 20 years for it to get to that state. All right? If I do this like once every 6 months,
Bamboo
it'll
is a
be
type
fine.
of grass, so it's literally watching grass grow.
Yeah,
you know.
exactly.
you
Anyways, I was like, so I have a system in place, right, where I take the big stalks and I save them because I might be able to bundle them and sell them eventually, or just give them away to some artists because people actually like that shit. But all like the leaves and the tiny shit, I like break it up and shove it in the bin. So I'm breaking it up, shoving it in the bin, and the bin gets pretty full. So I start to shove the bin down, and then I hear rustle. I'm like, what the fuck? And I like look in the bin, and then this rat hops right up on the edge of the bin. I ran out of there as fast as I found it. Why is there a rat in my compost bin?
Because you live in the U district.
You should have had your machete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did not have my machete.
How cool would you feel if you macheted a rat, Joe?
It wasn't that big of a rat, and my machete is fucking enormous. Where is it?
You would be
in the
coasting
other
on
room.
the
It's in
good
the other room.
fiance
Hold on.
train for like months off of that rat kill.
Yeah, except it would have made a mess because it would have splattered all over my car based on location of where
Oh no.
half of a dead rat. The size of this fucking thing. All right? I can't take out a rat that's like this big with this fucking machete.
Sure you could. I'm sure you've got some hand-eye coordination from all those video games you've been playing.
I can see, Joe, you are surprisingly nimble.
That's true. That is one of my known characteristics.
Nimble
is
Joe.
my surprising amount of nimbility.
Yeah.
Nimbleness. So it's project week at my class, and we give out awards like it's a hackathon, and this is what they look like. And I noticed that this thing has an unnecessarily shapely butt.
Oh wow, it's
it's like
halfway to thick, like thick with one C, not with two C's.
not dummy thick as the kids
Yeah,
say.
yeah.
Like literally, it's just like the weirdest silhouette, like the Oscar, but then the butt
It's just so.
unnecessarily shaped. Like who did this? Like what?
Oscar goes to the gym.
Yeah, for real, man. For real. All right. Anybody else got anything to talk about? You want to wrap up?
I would like to decorate.
Oh shit, we're supposed to. Whatever. You would like to decorate?
I would like to decorate.
That's a reference. We can talk about that. Board game of the week, Rococo. So in this game, this is a fun one. It takes place in like just before the French Revolution, France.
The party's still going. No beheadings yet.
Renaissance France. Yeah, and you
Yeah.
play a dressmaker. And I know how ridiculous this sounds. It's really fun. You take your turns like gathering thread and silk, and then you want to have like the finest balls at the gown, and you can also decorate the hall.
you want famous people to see and be seen in your wonderful
dresses,
dresses, and you want the rooms with your dresses to be the best decorated because you are so fabulous.
Yep. You want to be the most fabulous dressmaker in fucking Renaissance France, man. That's
It's
the goal
wonderful.
of the game.
There you go.
That's a good one.
You say the phrase, I would like to decorate more times in your life than you would ever imagine during the course of that game.
There you go.
Oh, I get to make 2 dresses this turn. Yes. Oh. All right. Well, shit. It's 50 minutes. Let's wrap this up. Let's wrap it up. Thanks for coming in, Colin.
Thank you
We'll
for
have
having
you
me.
on sometime else. Maybe like a bonus episode where I literally just talk to you about tech for 45 minutes.
Oh, that's great. I would love that.
Expand.
I could do that all day.
feed. Expand the feed. I don't even have to do the plugs anymore. Just,
Yeah.
well, I mean, once the website's rebuilt. And do you know that our website and every episode has been linking to the wrong Instagram account this entire time?
That's funny.
Oh, geez. All right. I'll see all you knuckleheads next week.
Bye.